I know I play this clip a lot, but it's one more time. It's Joe Biden saying that he rigged the 2020 election and bragging about it, saying that he and Barack Obama figured out how to do this with mail-in ballots.
Before this, we have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
So there's just Joe Biden straight up admitting it. Sometimes his senility can really be a benefit to all of us. Kamala Harris is somebody who, before she joined the most comprehensive fraud team in the country, admitted that it would be much better if everybody voted the same day on paper ballots.
To audit, but also what they can do around best practices and best machinery. We are talking with them about the fact that it is probably best that you do not have your election system connected to the internet.
Agree.
Because that will create greater vulnerabilities. And then look at where we are now in this year of our Lord 2018. We're talking about paper ballots. But
Agree.
that actually might be one of the smartest systems.
Agree. Amazing how much things can change when you're the one benefiting from the fraud. And this is why Donald Trump blocked mail-in ballot fraud in an executive order. So this was the executive order effectively saying, listen, you got to be sure that you're sending out ballots to people that are Americans. You are facilitating a crime using the Postal Service if you're not sending out ballots to Americans. Well, of course, a libtard judge blocked it with the Star Wars name. And now here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The victories keep rolling in. I keep getting exactly what I voted for. Trump scores massive Supreme Court win on mail-in voting restrictions before the midterms. What does it mean? Ladies and gentlemen, in an overwhelming decision, the High Court lifted an injunction that blocked the executive order on mail-in ballots. So what does this mean? This means that Democrat states, in order to get federal mail-in ballots, are going to have to turn in their voter rolls. That means that the DHS and DOJ will be able to cross-reference those voter rolls with American citizens to find out if American citizens are voting. I don't know why this is remotely controversial, but it is because libtards cheat in every election. Every state in the union has voter fraud cases. Remember, they told us that voter fraud was rare and never affected the outcomes of elections. That's not true. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of voter fraud cases all around the country, including, but not limited to, places like Hamtramck, Michigan, which has been taken over by third worlders, and then immediately third world ballot stuffing happens. These are the candidates getting caught on tape stuffing the ballots. I mean, it's egregious. It's the actual candidates doing it. It's so lowbrow. It's so third world that the candidates don't even find mules to do it, right? They just go do it themselves. 3 politicians accused of faking mail-in ballots in Philly suburb. 5 charged with election fraud from mail-in ballot fraud. Ladies and gentlemen, Democrats all across the nation. Here we go. Look at this. Judge overturns Bridgeport Democratic primary, calling the evidence of fraud shocking. Elon Musk saying judge orders new election after surveillance video showed ballot stuffing. This is what happens beyond a reasonable doubt. The only question is, how common is it? Well, it is very, very common, and it did rig the 2020 election, so Donald Trump is putting a stop to it. And it's an amazing run of victories yesterday. Huge SCOTUS win. U.S. Supreme Court has lifted a judge's block requiring Trump mail-in ballot tracking. These are codes, right? Barcodes, QR codes on all mail-in ballots, on the envelopes. Supreme Court rules that USPS ballot handling standards from Trump administration are legal. States lack standing to sue over alleged harm because it's a federal election. And also because, hey, morons, if you're mailing a bunch of ballots to a bunch of illegals, you're using the Postal Service in facilitation of a crime, okay? So every single time that any criminal does any criminal act, but then also uses the Postal Service, if he just licks a stamp, then it's using federal resources to facilitate a crime. You go to jail for twice as long. So if you're mailing a bunch of votes to a bunch of illegals, you're not allowed to vote. They're not allowed to vote. You're using it as a crime. Blocks Trump mail-in ballot restrictions. Look at that. Look at the states that sued. Would you look at that? Look at the states. So these are the states that commit voter fraud, right? So these are your states that want as many unlimited mail-in ballots as possible. Listen, again, the entire rub here is we don't want to turn over our voter lists to the feds. We just want the feds to mail ballots to every single person that we say needs to have a ballot mailed to them in our state. Every third worlder, every Mohammed, every homeless person on every street corner. We've detailed extensively what the conditions are like in California, for instance, where you can register to vote from a stop sign or a parking lot. Now, for all of the people who are dooming, and there are tons of doomers, I get it, it's a big business, but it is not grounded in reality. Donald Trump is having his Tom Brady moment right now. Trump confirms ICE proceedings against Ilhan Omar yesterday. Supreme Court allows Trump's mail-in ballot restrictions to take effect. The Trump administration revokes the visas of up to 200,000 asylum seekers. This is the biggest mass deportation in American history. 200,000 mass deported in a stroke of a pen. It's big. Ninth Circuit says district court cannot block ICE operations. ICE arrests almost 2,000 illegals in Virginia and Maryland in just 14 days. AOC is going to have to get a new maid. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Huge breaking. 2 injunctions issued by judge are set aside. Dissenting statements by 3 liberals, of course. This will dramatically impact how states can use the mail for voting. Final rule will be published on Wednesday. Expect multiple lawsuits on Thursday and Friday challenging the final rule, but it's a very good argument. The propriety venue for such challenge, the Postal Regulatory Commission and not district courts. Basis of SCOTUS rule may be lack of standing by the plaintiffs. The final rule is passed when they sued. The final rule is now filing complaints. Okay. With today's SCOTUS ruling, says Mike Lee, President Trump has made a giant leap forward in securing 2026 elections. Congress must pass the SAVE Act. We should have passed it months ago. Thankfully, President Trump is making up for what we haven't done. Yes, to their great shame, it has not passed. The states have authority over elections, but executives run the post office. This is a very, very big deal. Yeah. Vote by mail, fraud by mail, live by the sword, die by the sword. This is huge, ladies and gentlemen. It's just a series of generational wins, one after another. Admin stacking up wins today in the would you look at the time? Yeah, I'm going to have I'm going to listen to absolutely no one. I'm going to hear it from nobody today. No one. Telling me that Kamala Harris would have been like the exact same president as Donald Trump. Yeah. Yep. No. Silence. Magic wand. Silence the haters. Tie your tongues. There is no such thing as a perfect movement. The administration makes mistakes, but you can stay inside of the tent and fight alongside the winds and continue in order to build and save the greatest nation on earth. Or you can just black pill and like wallow in your misery like a total baby. So you know what we're going to choose to do. This cannot vote at 3 a.m. anymore. Democracy is over. Neither of us are moving from our chairs. Okay. That's fine. You can stay in your chair. Okay? Or leave, as far as I'm concerned. But you ain't going to be voting by mail. Fraudster. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See